What is up, guys? This is Olympio coming at you with a very special and quite quick deck profile. I managed to pick up all the artifact stuff in 2 days over the weekend when I was back, so I wasn't here for the sneak peek because I was in Canada and I didn't attend any sneak peeks there because I was too busy. But I came back with the aim to get all the artifact stuff, and I did, and it was quite surprisingly easy. I thought it'd be a lot harder than it was. But I managed to get it, so without further ado, I'm going to go into it. This is the Herald artifact deck with the Spirit engine. And I know that sounds like 3 archetypes, it might be a bit cloggy, but it's actually working quite well, and I really implore you to test it out. So, we have the 3 Herald of Perfection, very standard. It is like one of your win conditions if you get it out. It's just so nice. And then the other one is Manju. You play the 3 Manju because Manju's a staple at 3. If you run Herald of Perfection, you run 3 Manju because you want to get to Herald as fast as you can. Then going on to the Artifact engine, we have 3 Artifact Moraltech. This is the best artifact in my opinion. He is just so good. The fact that you can just special summon him and pop a monster, it's really good. 2-1 attack is not bad at all, so he is really good. And the important thing to note about the artifacts, they are fairies. So they're all light fairies, and they have really good synergy with Herald of Perfection. So if you really don't want to set them, or you've already clogged your back row, or anything like that, you don't have to just leave them sitting there in your hand. You can discard them for Herald. Then I play the 1 artifact Scythe. Scythe is a really good card. It's really good when used correctly. You only play 1 in my opinion because any more is unnecessary. And when your opponent is obviously making big plays, you can just pop this and stop them from special summoning from their extra deck. And it's just so good because it shuts your opponent down completely. They stop their plays, and it just means that you can start picking them off next turn. And that's kind of it, really. The 2-2 attack is pretty respectable. And then the other one I play is probably going to butcher this name, but it's Beagletack. And this card is pretty good. I think it's only good at 1 for this version. Any other versions I play 2, kind of in pure or like non-Herald spirit. Because his effect is basically you pop 2 your back row, 2 your sets, and he is very useful for exploding on plays. As I said, I only play 1 because I feel that any more is a little bit unnecessary, considering that I'm not going to set much back row in this one. So I play 5 artifacts and 6 of the spell and trap. So there's 3 of the trap, 3 of the spell, which you'll see in a bit. So there isn't that much stuff I want to set on the back row, but this is useful if I do need it. If I draw more artifacts, if I draw more artifacts, or if I draw an artifact and ignition, and this, I can just kind of set them and then kind of go off. So it is really useful to have the card, and I do like it because it does employ explosive plays. So then going to the Spirit engine, we have 3 Aratama, the main searcher of spirits. I don't really say much about it. I then play 2 Nikotama. I was kind of umming and ahhing about playing 3, and because the main focus of the deck isn't spirits like my previous Spirit Herald decks, where the focus isn't heavily on spirits, I feel that 2 is a good number because you can search it, you can recycle it, and it's just a really nice kind of card to use. So 2 has been testing quite well. Then we have 2 Yaksha. Yaksha is such an amazing card and such a useful card for me that I couldn't cut it down from any more than, 2. I couldn't cut it down to 1 because it's just so useful for those really annoying back rows, and the fact that it's a water as well means that it can dodge all those obvious back rows that people use. So for example, Lightning, Prison and Mirror. And it's also really good for Abyss Dweller because in the mirror match against artifacts, using Abyss Dweller and having it on 2-2 is very strong and powerful, as well as Murmurs. Like, Murmurs just can't do anything against a 2-2 Dweller. So, yeah, Yaksha is a really good card. Then we have the 1 Izami, just because it means that I can recycle stuff. I can also ditch any bad cards I don't want him out of my hand. The 1 Ryatsu, because he's just so good. He's saved me so many times. The amount of times I'll have a Herald out, and this in hand, and my opponent has a lot of boss monsters, but I can't get past them. I'll just summon this effect, return to the extra deck, and then repeat, and and I'll just slowly clear the field, and I have enough kind of control over the field to actually keep it going. So it is really nice, and it's also a good surprise if you just set it. Then we have the 2 Megami, because I play Advanced Ritual Art, and these are fairies, so these are kind of annoying to draw in your opening hands, and if you do draw all of them, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, mainly because you can use them as discard outlets for Herald of Orange, for example, and the amount of times that I've actually gone Daigusto Emerald, I'll say that again, Daigusto Emerald. The amount of times I've gone Daigusto Emerald into putting one of these back into the deck and then doing Advanced Ritual Art to get Herald out is quite a lot. So they aren't, you know, it isn't the be-all end-all if you do draw them all. You're not going to just keep drawing dead cards. You can recycle them with the Spirit Engine. And you do also have the Artifact and Spirit Engine to back you up if you can't go for your Herald plays. Then we have the 2 Herald of Orange Light. I really want to put this to 3, but I'm really struggling with kind of space. So it's a 2 for now, pending 3. All the artifacts are, you know, fairy, so it doesn't really matter. I can kind of fodder anything. Then we have the 2 Maxi. Maxi really helps with the deck. It kind of helps with the possible inconsistencies and bad hands that you might get. And it's also just really good right now, to be honest. So maining 2 Maxis is really good. And I've actually started doing it in my normal Spirit deck, because Spirit Herald deck, because it's just so useful. And then finally the 1 Honest, because we only have 3 non-light monsters, which are the Aratamas. Then going on to the spells, I think it's 27 monsters, or no, 28 it will be. So then we have the 2 Advanced Ritual Art. I don't really need to say much about that. One of the brand new cards, we have the 3 Artifact Ignition. This card is just so good. And one of the most appealing things about running artifacts in Herald, and the reason why I wanted to do it, is because you have a themed MST if you so need it. And one of the things that Herald really suffers from is if your opponent flips Skill Drain on you, you kind of lose, because it's very difficult to get over it. There aren't many cards that you can main that really get over a Skill Drain. And it's one thing I've always struggled with. It's normally you will end up going to round 2 very quickly if they skip, you know, if they flip Skill Drain early game before you get Herald out. So having this as an option, like a main decked option to get rid of any possible back row your opponent has, is just so good. And it also works obviously with yourself. So being able to search out fairies search artifacts to your set, and also pop either yours or theirs for advantage, is just so good. So I really like the card. It works really well with the deck, and it's kind of a little thing that's been missing from Herald in my opinion for a while. So I just really like the card in here. Then we have 3 Preparation of Rites. I still play 3 because it's just such a good card. I still have the Artifact Engine to dump the ARA if I so wish with Larval Chain, and then play this to do, you know, like this is basically a 1 turn, a 1 card Ritual Summon if I do have the Larval Chain. I do realise that the whole combo isn't basically a 1 card, but you get what I mean. So 3 for now. It has been testing well, and I will leave it at that for now. And then going on to the traps, we have 3 Artifact Sanctum. Possibly might drop this to 2, I'm not entirely sure yet, but 3's been testing very well. The fact you can just special summon an artifact from the deck is amazing. You really don't need to say much more about that. This is what I mean by using, like, a great card to use this with is Scythe, because you can completely disrupt your opponent's plays. It's the same with Moral Tech. It's just so good. You can just a free pop, and they're just all so good. So Sanctum is a really nice card to have, and it just works so well. And then the final 2 cards, the final 2 traps are Call of the Haunted. Now Call of the Haunted works incredibly well with the artifacts, but also works very well with Herald of Perfection if I have summoned it. So Call of the Haunted works, as I said, both ways, to kick off the artifact effects, and also in the end phase, if I so want, to get Herald back from the graveyard if they have gotten around it. So it's really nice. It has kind of like double uses, and that's what I really like about it. So then moving on to the extra deck, we have the Wanderandal. I play artifacts, so it's only standard to play this. It benefits us by turning any normal spell trap or monster effects that activates on the field into
a MST for our back row. So it's very useful, and it's just nice. Also, the fact you can shuffle your opponent's hand into their deck as well as yours, draw the same amount of cards, is very useful. Then Sirius, great in the mirror match, and also just a really useful card to have. So I believe that everyone should play it if they're playing rank 5s. Pallades, because I play lights, and the card is just useful, and gives my opponent a really big headache. Volcasaurus to get over any kind of big boss monsters that I don't really like, and the piercing, the effect damage is just so good. Sharp Fortress because I like OTKs, but seriously, the card is very useful in the fact that I can really cause mass amounts of damage just with it on its own. Then the 2 Silent Honor Art. I probably should cut this down to 1, but I feel that it's just saved my arse so many times that it's just so useful, and be that with the Spirit Engine that I can consistently pump out rank 4s, I feel that having 2 is just a very, very good thing to have, because there are a lot of problem boss monsters out there that are special summon in attack mode, and it's just nice to have. Then the 1 Extra Knight because it can work with my artifacts, and you know, it can also just turn around games and really destroy people's souls. Then we have the 1 Diamond Eye Wolf because it's generic kind of removal, really useful to have just in case I need it. The 1 Daigusto Emerald for reasons as I said earlier. You know, we're shuffling those vanillas back if I need them, or any other cards. The Larval Chain, again, for reasons I said earlier with the Preparation of Right plays. The 1 Heartland Drago because I can attack my opponent directly for 2k, which is really nice, and it's actually a lot of damage if you think about it. The 1 Gara Cowboy because it wins games. It's a really nice card to have if I so wish. The 1 Dweller because Mermals are a thing and artifacts are a thing. I realised that someone doesn't like me saying they're a thing, something's a thing, so I'll explain why. Mermals have become more of an apparent thing again this format because they're still good and they were untouched by the ban list. So I feel that it's a really good card to main just because it's against them. And also this is really good with the artifact matchup as well as other random matchups. So Abyss Dweller is a great choice to have if you're running a rank 4 deck. And the final one is Gaia Dragon because I play rank 5s and it's good to have the piercing damage. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Apologies if there are some random cuts, it's because my camera ran out of memory, so I had to recut it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video with the artifacts. This is just kind of like my first test on it. I was testing for a couple of days and it's really nice, really been working well, causing a lot of problems and just really useful to have. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.